Continuing to laugh. That's good.
Oh man! Oh, that's a good one, Pat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try.
Yep,
I try.
Funny.
Very good. Very good. Very good.
Oh man! Oh, that's,
Oh yeah.
I'm hearing somebody speakers.
I was
Speakers!
waiting for it to go
Speakers!
live on YouTube, and then I just switched it off because you know that I
That's how we do it.
Yep, that's how we do it.
That's how we do it. We go live here.
Go live.
Let's go live. Let's do it at live stream.
All right.
Number 28. Woo!
28.
Woo!
We've been doing this for what?
28
Over
times?
2
28.
years that must be.
Yeah.
I
I'm
can't
so
believe
glad.
that.
It's so glad that all of us friends can be here together, and we all can make it here for the 28th episode.
Yeah,
That's right,
Jared.
Jared.
I know. I can't
Fantastic.
believe it. A long
Can't
time
believe it.
ago, we started this, and wow.
Yeah.
Jared's been here since the beginning.
I
It
know.
was like
My
Jared's
pal.
in Rick's room. That's what I
Yeah.
Well, he keeps coming and crashing on our attic, so I decided I was just going to come and crash his bedroom.
That seems fair. Oh man!
I don't know what to say about that.
I think that this might be a crop of a crop that we've got going on here on a bad printer. That's what I think is happening.
Oh, okay.
Those
my-
eyes are just staring me down. I feel like they're watching me wherever
I
I
know.
turn. It's like,
You look so serious too. Holy cow! I don't.
No, it's almost his emo face.
I know. I'm not
No.
used to that look.
now if only his voice sounded like Christopher Walken.
Well,
It'd be a
You
probably
know-
dead ringer for that.
I need more cowbell.
Holy cow! That's really good.
Yeah.
That's an
Jared,
excellent Chris
great.
Walken impression. Oh
You've
my
been doing
goodness.
great, Jared.
Yeah.
You must have been practicing now.
Yeah.
Well-
Usually your Christopher Walken
Not
impression
good.
is terrible, but today
I gotta say, I just am riding on the horse, and I am nothing but a tooth fairy. What is up with the tooth fairy?
I like my breakfast food.
And then there's this watch I want to talk about. I think Delvin, you're right. This just getting tired of holding this up right now.
I was gonna say
The bit's
Good
good.
estimate.
The bit's
Maybe if you
good.
put like some ice cream on the back, you could be licking it. Then it would keep it. Yep. Ugh.
that's
Never
just
mind.
That's just Honey Nut Cheerios. That's all that is.
All right. So yeah, full disclosure, folks. Yard sale artist realized he had some familial obligations that he had to take care of.
you get a
And,
pine, you get a pole, honey.
So we looked around the old LBC studios to see who was wandering around and found Rick. So here's Rick, today known as AKA Not Jared, and he is going to round out our fantastic foursome here.
Yeah.
You get a line and I'll get a pole, baby.
Honey,
You and me going.
You get a line and I'll get
Fishing
a
in the dark.
pole. We'll go down to the fishing hole, honey.
Honey,
oh,
oh,
baby.
baby.
Oh, my.
Mine. Yeehaw!
go to your left, your right, your left. Go to your left, your right, your left.
I don't know that one. So.
It's a Jody, Pat.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
It's
Jody.
a Jody.
Jody call.
You know what a Jody is, Pat?
A what?
A Jody.
Could be a boy or a girl's name.
It could be a boy or
Hey,
girl name.
you're right.
And that is actually a part of the bit. Yes.
That is
So
part of it.
a Jody, Pat, is what the Army and other armed forces men and women do when they're marching. They sing
Oh,
songs that
okay.
are called Jodies, and usually the name Jody came because when you're at your basic training, that you're away from your significant other, who could be a guy, who could be a girl, and so they're called Jodies because
Okay.
you're singing about songs of
Them.
Yeah.
them.
And you're doing your duty to your country, and your Jody's back home with the layabouts.
Yeah. They're doing another duty.
Well, speaking about duties, let's go ahead and say hello to everyone in the chat.
Oh,
Hello,
yeah.
everyone in the chat.
I've been speaking already.
Yeah, we have. Let's see. I see Jeff, who is not Rick, is in the chat. Let's see. Chola's there.
Kathy Bright from
Kathy,
Plainsman
yeah.
Park in lovely Auburn,
Let's put that
Alabama.
up there. Hey, look at that.
Our-
See,
our-
Wi-Fi works there, Kathy. Cool.
One of our snipers there.
Who's winning? Maybe you can tell us the score of the game that you're at.
Auburn is playing Texas A&M, the Aggies in baseball. Auburn hadn't had the greatest baseball season this year, but the boys are battling.
Giving it their all.
They're giving it their all.
We
Balls
got
in
Jeff
strike.
Dodd in here, it looks like. GLHG, I see.
Yep.
Chola.
Got a lot of people in the chat, so come.
boy.
If you're watching,
Yeah.
come join us in the chat. What we're going to be doing on this episode is we'll be going through the pod file questions again. We didn't get through all of them the last time. So, and there's some good ones coming up that I'm interested to hear how everybody would, how you would answer them. So we'll go through those. We may be joined later by another special guest. So we'll
Maybe
see about
two.
that. Maybe two.
Maybe two.
Maybe, who
Maybe
knows?
actual special guests
Yes.
instead of people just walking around the LBC headquarters.
Yeah, actual people that come and see us and stop by instead of just people we know here and there.
That's right. We just leave food out for.
Yep.
And then we come trap them and then use their talents.
I'm sorry, you're not talking about me because I don't got no talents. That ain't me.
Oh, you got some skills, Rick. Don't sell yourself short.
I've got artistic skills.
You make good. You make good Rice Krispie squares. I like your Rice Krispie squares
Thank you.
Oh, I never got
Thank you so
those. How come I've never been here?
because he makes good Rice Krispie.
He puts them out in the cafeteria here. and
Well,
then
you
he
see,
doesn't-
I got the memo. I got the memo. You're not allowed to have Rice Krispie squares.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, so
That's probably
I'm
not
sorry.
good for me.
Sorry.
Yeah. I got to
Not
cut
good
back
for
on
you
the
at
Rice
all.
Krispie. Actually, out of all
Great
of us, I
for
think
us.
Delvin's the only one who can eat Rice Krispie squares. The three of us here.
Yep, no diabetes here.
That's right.
Knock
That's
on
right.
wood.
But you got to die of something, right? You put that on a tombstone. Died of Rice Krispie squares. Well, way to go.
I don't know. If I were to die of something, like I wouldn't want my tombstone to read "Die of Rice Krispies."
No, it'd be something cooler, like he snapped, crackled, and popped off to the next word. Something like that.
Died trying to, eat the world's record for Rice Krispie treats.
Died trying to organize his comic book collection as it all collapsed on him.
Yes.
Yeah.
With those tombs, yes, I believe that.
Yeah.
That is a likely thing. There was one time when I got those tombs, like I have these things called comic book tombs, and they're like these 4 big chests of drawers all stacked on top of each other, and it's super top heavy to where they want you to bolt it against the wall. And I've been living in rental places, and I didn't want to bolt them against the wall because that could possibly cause a lot of damage. And so when I first was trying to fill them in, I propped them up against the wall as much as I possibly could, and then was like, okay, I'll see if I can load them in from maybe the bottom and just keep them up. And then sure enough, I was loading them, and I don't know what it was. I put some comic book boxes in, and I went to pick up something from the long box, and something maybe caught periphery, and I just stuck my hand out like that because like the tomb was already like collapsing.
Oh, boy.
And like I was in the house by myself too. Like I would have been like I think I would have gotten out from under it, but I would not have been happy. That would have
You'd not have been okay. You might have
Yeah,
been
that would've
okay,
been bad.
but you
That would've hurt.
Yeah. Oh goodness.
There's moments you have to do a little bit of computation in your head too. Okay, is the thing about that's going to fall on me, is that bigger than I can handle, or should I just be running at this point in time?
Well, if you remember, we're guys, right? So
Yeah.
we think we can handle it.
Sure.
It doesn't matter. It's like
Yeah.
it's like 800-900 pounds. Yeah, I got that. I'm good.
It's my strong arm. It's my dominant arm. I can hold it.
My MOS in the military was 12 Charlie, was bridge building, ribbon flotation bridge building. So we had those giant pieces, those giant aluminum bread boxes is what they look like on the back of the Hemmets. And we were doing some maintenance on one of them, and it was on a little bit of a hill, and somebody hadn't locked the thing properly. So we're standing back there, and the thing's and the ramp starts to move. This big piece of this bridge machinery starts to move off of the ramp that it's on, and I've got this 40-pound bar pushing it up there, like trying to hold it. And me and another guy kind of looked at each other. I dropped the bar and we both ran. And we're like, what were we thinking, that we could just stop it with our hands? We're like, no, just run, just run.
Trying to do the Han Solo in the trash compactor.
It's like, no, this ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work at all. That thing just clanged on the ground. We're like, yeah, let's just pick it back. Let's use the hydraulics, pick it back up. We're good. Yeah. But the first move was, yeah, we can stop. No, we can't. No.
Yeah, one of my first field assignments, I was in the back of an M113, one of the old APCs that kind of predated the Bradley fighting vehicles. And they have the back door, that drops down so all the troops come out and everything. And my squad leader said, "Hey, Albrecht, the mechanism's not working to winch it up. You're gonna have to lift it up here. Go ahead." And like an idiot, I tried. Everybody just laughing at me, like, "Oh, you dumbass! I'll be able to lift that." I was like, I had no idea how much it weighed, but I was like, "Holy cow!"
Nah, it's all good. It's all good. No.
Yeah. Yeah. You get hazed when you're first in the military.
We're getting a couple of survival stories here. On YouTube channel. Courtney, Kathy says she went to her knees to save a 200-pound TV one time. GL says he has a best friend who tried to stop his 71 El Camino from rolling downhill by getting in front of it.
That sounds like when Delvin ran for the cart that Jarrett was. Oh man,
there's a difference. That cart may have weighed like 15, 20 pounds. The 71 El Camino weighs about 38,000 pounds.
Yeah.
That cart weighed more than 15 pounds. I can tell you, because I had pushed that cart all the way out from the building, and by the time I got it to the car, as it started to roll away down the hill, I was like, I got no gas left in the tank. It's in God's hands now, where that car goes.
I see we got Courtney in the chat as well, too. Welcome, Courtney.
Hey, Courtney.
She noted that somebody was missing. I don't know what she's talking about.
Oh, there he is.
It's the same as it always was. It was me, Pat, Jason. Jared.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We're all here.
Not seeing the problem at all. No, sir.
So we've noted that Jared's Christopher Walken impression is improved considerably.
I know. I'm mesmerized by those eyes. They're just looking at me every time that it comes. I'm like, ooh.
I had a thought. Should I take the eyes out or keep them? And then I was like, no, we can't destroy those beautiful eyes.
No.
He looks like he should be in a boy band in that.
Yeah.
Right?
Should be in a boy band.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying that he's already in a boy band, right?
Why do you think he's not here today?
Oh. So he's not fishing? That's what. The fishing was a ruse. I thought you were hinting that we were his boy band that he was a part of.
Yes.
We don't
That's
even.
the ticket.
We don't even really cover comic books. It's really just a ruse for us to badly sing cover songs.
Don't say badly. Don't say badly.
I'm covering our collective effort of singing.
Jeff, to answer your question, I'm drinking a Safeway Select seltzer water, blood orange flavored, with a splash of tangerine flavoring from Safeway squirted in here. So that's what I'm drinking currently.
I've got water.
Yeah, I'm fancy. So
fancy.
Boy,
it's so fancy.
It's good. 0 calories.
Yeah, that's what I got.
No sugar.
And what's everybody's cup here? I've got McMiniman's Gearhart Hotel.
I have my Auburn tumbler that Kathy loves that I have not taken the sticker off of it yet.
No.
I never even thought to do it, and now I have to keep it on because it drives her crazy.
That's nice. That's nice. That's called fan appreciation right there.
Mm-hmm.
Or if nothing else, committing to a bit. That's also something that we do around here.
We
Commit to the bit.
Right?
Commit to the bit.
That's all right. What do you guys say we start getting into some questions here? Start moving here.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. So this is a continuation of our pod files that Chris Sheehan brought to us that he does on one of his shows. And so I thought I'd bring in questions to you guys. And so we had so much fun last time that we didn't get through all the questions. We're going to try to get through them now. So let's see. And we brought Rick, not Jeff, or not Jared, not the J. Let's just say not the J. So he's going to fill in for Jared. So you got to make sure you're going to answer like Jared.
Okay.
We'll see.
All right.
No, we'll find. You can answer as yourself on these.
Gonna ask Jason to get those cards ready. Like 1 through 10. 10, is this a real good answer, like what Jared would say, or 1? Wow.
No, it's okay. X-Men, if you want.
Oh, X-Men question. I love X-Men. I love X. Yeah, Jared loves X-Men all the time, all day long.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Claremont, a favorite writer.
Mm-hmm.
You're on the right
top.
Mm-hmm.
He loves the mind fights.
You bet.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can have mind fights in space, that's the stuff he loves. That's the stuff he loves.
Definitely. See, you're down with it. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into question number 1. And folks in the chat, feel free to answer it yourself in the chat, and we'll say them after we're done going through the group here. So let's go ahead and get in question number 1. And it is, who'd play you in a movie? Who would play you in a movie? Does anybody need some time to think about that? Anybody want to go first? Jeff wants to go, or
Go
Jeff
ahead.
wants to go first.
Back in high school, my nickname that was given to me was Doogie, because apparently at that time I looked a lot like Neil Patrick Harris. So I'm just going to go ahead and say I'm going to keep with it, even though it didn't really grow up the same way. I'm going to go with it. Neil Patrick Harris, he can play me in the movie, and I can
kind of see that. I'd
be fine with it.
Yeah, it's in your eyes.
Doogie Howser can play me. It's all good. I can handle it.
All right. No,
Anybody
maybe
else?
Mike Myers for me. I thought about that.
Jason, you're breaking up.
You're breaking up, Jason.
Break it up.
Well, I guess you missed it.
We heard Mike Myers, and then everything kind of went away.
That's pretty much it.
I was gonna say
Mike Myers?
that's kind of good. Like it's Michael Myers, and then like the next scene, it froze, and he came back, and he just would have been,
Yeah. I think Michael Myers would be a good one. Yeah. You were talking the character Michael Myers, right?
Sure. Yeah, either one.
and not Austin Powers, Mike Myers. Very groovy.
Yes. My face looks very much like an inside out William Shatner mask. That's what my face really represents.
Well, I mean, otherwise, obviously, Harrison Ford would play me, I guess. He's a little old, though.
I mean, you still would let him play you, though, right? If Harrison Ford, just like all gruffy, yeah.
If he'd commit to it,
Really?
I don't want any of that Force Awakens Harrison Ford. I want vintage Harrison Ford committing to it.
Gotcha. I guess I should answer the question too. Like I saw GL said Denzel Washington. If Denzel Washington could play me, that'd be freaking amazing. I've been told I look like a lot of people, so I don't know who I'd go with, but what I've been told I look like the most recently is the UFC fighter John Jones. So if John Jones ever wanted to act, and not just act, crazy, then I guess he could play me in a movie.
Don't hold yourself back, Delvin. I mean, we all know that it's Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean,
Right?
That's what I see, man.
It's the resemblance. It's the accent.
Yeah, the muscles, the build.
Right.
That's
Dead
it.
ringer.
Dead ringer. Dead ringer.
I would let Arnold play me if he wanted to play me. Absolutely.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yep.
Terry Crews, Jeff? No, good God. For many reasons.
You can't do your muscles like
No.
that?
You can't make them dance.
You can't make them.
I cannot dance half as good as Terry Crews can dance. That's for sure. And I'm nowhere near as muscular. Wasn't he a former NFL player? Did he make it to the NFL?
You might have
I'm
been.
not sure.
I think he did, but yeah. What about you, Pat? You haven't answered the
Yeah,
question.
I was saying there's one person that hasn't answered yet.
Yeah, I'm thinking of. Well, trying to remember his name now. He was, I don't know, somewhat a comedian. People said I looked a lot like him when he was out because of the goatee and the hair. It was Tom. What was his name?
Green.
Tom Green. Yep.
Okay.
Do I look like him?
I mean, I see where you're going with
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a crazy stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got that.
I never
Yeah.
found him super funny. Like people, like he was like a late '90s thing,
Mhm.
and people loved him. Like, oh my God, he's so funny. And just like he was just a weird dude who just did random stuff, but people thought he was hilarious. I need someone to at least back up that assertion that they thought he was funny.
I'm sorry. I'm stuck on the fact that I'm looking at one picture in particular of Tom Green, and it's Pat.
I never thought about it until he
If I
said
squint
it.
in my face, it'll-
Bam, it's Pat.
Do you have any
I-
way of sharing your screen?
Ah,
I'm
No,
not
I
that
don't-
smart either. So
wait. Hold on. Maybe I can. Let's see here.
I don't know if he can.
I think so.
Trying
I'm going
it.
to select Tom
for
Green.
it.
There we go. Allow. Bam.
There's something's happening.
Shall we say? Let me add it to the stream. Here we go.
Oh,
Oh,
there it is.
Well, if I didn't have
Yeah,
if I had the
yeah,
beard,
that
yeah.
is Pat. Okay,
That's Pat.
Pat wins. You win this
Wow.
round, Pat.
Woo!
yeah. Not that we're keeping
Well, I take my
score, but
glasses.
I agree. Pat does win this round.
Pat wins that one. Yep. That one came up, and I'm just like, I stopped listening to you, Delvin. I'm sorry. Just stopped. Woo.
Don't worry, I wasn't saying anything important.
Courtney
Ah,
thinks you're much
good
better
question.
looking, though, Pat.
What is that?
Courtney says you're much better.
Oh,
looking.
thank you. I try. It's. I've heard that I put a little drool in the beard and it helps it grow and
Smooths it out.
smooths it out. Yep.
You look
like
better than a Canadian comedian, even though you're in Wisconsin, which is practically Canada.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's right,
You're
eh?
almost there. You're almost there.
Okay, I got a question for y'all though.
Mhm.
What actor?
Jared
Mm-hmm.
Pierce Bronson.
Brosnan.
Yeah.
When he was younger, I always thought he looked like that actor who played Parker Lewis, Can't Lose.
Corn
Oh, yeah.
Nimmick. Yeah. I'm just
Jared used
watching
to do-
Stargate, so yeah.
Jared used to do an Elvis. He was a big Elvis fan back in the day. So
Yeah, he was.
I mean, if there's some very good Elvis impersonator, that person might also just decide to jump over and do Jared as well.
How about you, Pat? Got an idea on Jared? Oh no, you already said Pierce.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know.
Ooh, that's
Michael
pretty good,
Keaton.
Courtney. I like
Michael
that.
Keaton.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Michael
That's a
Keaton.
good one, Courtney.
Yeah.
But I don't like it because it's giving Jared too much credit. So no.
Yeah, it'll swell his head even bigger. Yeah, we're just gonna keep that amongst ourselves, okay?
That's the head getting swelled.
Ooh, Kathy has a good question, and I've actually thought of this one, so I know an answer right away.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
She said-
let me put it up here.
Okay, go for it.
There we go.
So, what would your coming up to bat song be if you were an MLBer? And I can go first because I already know. I'm doing "Hammer to Fall" by Queen. I'm doing that riff going right up to the plate.
See, I want to ask you what the riff is,
Yeah.
but I don't because that'll take up like the next 5 minutes. So I'm not asking you. I'll go find the song.
Just listen to the guitar intro to it. That's the part that you gotta.
Oh man.
Trolla says that in the photo, Jarrett looks like Corey Haim.
Ooh.
See, I can kind of see that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll live with Corey Haim. Corey Haim isn't like, like active. Like people will be like, ooh, Corey Haim, he's hot. It's like, oh yeah, Corey Haim. So I'm okay with that for Jared.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Michael Keaton, no, people still like know him and like him a lot.
Wait, is Corey Haim the dead one or Corey Feldman the dead?
Haim.
Haim is. Feldman's still alive.
All right.
Still got one of them.
Yep.
Got one of the Coreys.
Mm-hmm.
One of the Corys.
Delvin,
all
what would your coming to bat song be?
The first thing that popped to mind was Thunderstruck by AC/DC.
Oh, good one. Good one.
Yeah. Nice one.
I like that. That has a lot of energy to it. It feels very baseball related. And not that it has to be. You can come up to any song that you want to. I don't know whoever thought of that, but it's a really good idea. That the player comes up and they just choose like some like cool riff of a song, so they feel all. I remember Barry Bonds saying back in the day that like the repetition of coming up to bat every time it can get kind of boring. So you have to find ways that like his mental trick was so he could feel like he felt sexy when he was in the batter's box, So like whatever gets you in that mindset, and that probably changes over the course of a 162 game season.
Yeah, for him it was steroids.
we're not even starting on that.
Steroids make me feel sexy.
Not even starting on that because it's not like the Dodgers were all of a sudden pure. Anyway,
my Dodgers are pure all the time, every time.
You wound them up. You wound them up.
Pat, what would your song be?
Ooh, boy.
Sister Christian. There we go.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
I was going to say.
Who could still rock in America? I'm actually going to watch out for the Hitman.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Watch out for the Hitman.
The first thing that came to my mind was, of course, Major League Wild Thing, which you can't go wrong with the classic. But then when you said the guitar solo or the riff, I was thinking the Van Halen riff from Beat It. That would be kind of nice. Just coming up to that. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yep,
Which I just really recently found out was that he gave it to Michael Jackson for a 6-pack, right?
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
A 6-pack.
If you got talent, share the talent,
Right.
We got anything in the chat on it?
We got to ask though too.
You can't touch this.
GL said that his would be Meet the Monster by Five Finger Death Punch. So metal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bitty Bitty Bomb Bomb by Selena by Elza Angelica. That's funny. That's one of the songs there are a few songs I think about being played at San Antonio that will get people up dancing. That would be one of them. And then Aaron Headmoss was saying, you can't touch this. And then he says that his bat would not touch any balls, and I don't want to even touch on that joke.
So who's gonna, or what's Jared's song?
Something by Prince.
Yeah.
Sexy.
Oh, actually, if we do the
with
riff, Prince's riff or Prince's solo on
While my guitar
gently weeps. Yep.
Yeah,
anything Prince he'd be fine with.
Yeah. Darling Nikki.
Let's go crazy.
Yeah. Kathy says, girl Kathy would be Katy Perry Fireworks. Good song. Boy Kathy might be Prince Let's Go Crazy.
That could be girl Kathy too. It's okay to be a girl and like Prince. Man, I'm full of rants today. Like I got the Peloton bike and they have like a Prince mix on one of them that went for like 30 minutes. And that was a very, very fun bike ride. Like they could have come up with like hours and hours of like Prince workout videos. Like that was so awesome.
Every once in a while, does he go, ah, you reached a mile?
That's not exactly how it works, but you definitely have to repeat that sound. What was that?
This is what it sounds like when you reach a mile.
Okay, y'all need to capture that sound bit. And that and trash can are now just dropped into random episodes of your shows.
Oh man, that was a good one.
That made my entire day. This whole live stream is now worth it.
Actually, no. Here's what you need to do: is you need to take that little sound clip, and just start texting it to Jared. No context, just right now. Start texting it to Jared.
Oh man!
Fun. All right, well, let's get into question number 2, and it is why comics or podcasting? I guess. Well, you can do figure that out, whichever way you want to go. So, give everybody a chance in the chat to figure out why comics, why podcasting, if you're listening to podcasting, or just whatever else topic that you find interesting that you like to do a lot. So, who would like to start?
Pick somebody.
All right, we will go down.
Okay.
And start with Rick.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and say why podcasting. It was my midlife crisis because, I started listening to podcasts because I had a long commute and started to get into it, started finding things that I liked, found the podcasts that were talking about those things and said, this is kind of fun. And I was going through a patch where I said, I'm not creating anything. I don't have the skills that Jared's got to do art or anything creative like that.
Me neither.
I'm pretty good at talking. So I thought maybe I could be good at this. And luckily I was able to find somebody who is a lot funnier than me, who said that he would be my partner on our little crusade that we were doing. And that's kind of how I got into it. And it just was an outlet for me to create something, to do something, to produce something that I could be proud of and that I could share with people. Whether or not anybody's listening to it, fine. It's not for everybody. I get that. I'm proud of what I'm doing. Jeff's proud of what we're doing. And it's just nice to have something that I've created, that I've made, that I've put my own work into, my own thoughts and my own opinions. And my daughter's part of it too, which is another wonderful thing that I can keep with me and share. And I've got that piece of it as well. So yeah. Creativity.
I do it for the money.
Dude, you fail. If you're doing this for the money, you ain't doing it for the right reasons.
He's like the money and the groupies, and I'm like, there's money and groupies?
What?
No, that's a great answer. I can't beat that. Let's move on.
No, dude, go for it. You don't have to beat it. You just have to give your own.
So comics. I got into comics. There have been a couple times in my life. The first time as a kid, under the age of 10, it's kind of how I kind of really grew up learning to read. I mean, you learn to read in school, but I used to get comics and I liked them because I could look at the pictures and figure out what was going on as I was learning to read. And then as I got, older, like my 30s, and I started reading I'm just kidding. But as I started, got a little bit older, like 10 years old, I really started gravitating towards Spider-Man. The Spider-Man comics, they kind of spoke to me. I was kind of a shy kid and moved around a lot. So it was hard for me to make a lot of lasting friendships. My dad was in the military, so we move every 2-3 years. And So, so it was kind of a lonely experience when you're a preteen. So that was a way for me to, I kind of found somebody in Peter Parker that spoke to me as a kid. Then I got into high school, kind of got out of comic books for a while, grew out of it until the late 80s. And, and then I started picking up some, Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns, like a lot of people kind of drug me back in. I started reading X-Men seriously around that time, and just, has stuck with me, my whole life. Just always loved him, loved the story, loved the art. And, to this day, it's still a passion of mine. As far as the podcasting thing is concerned, I honestly didn't know what a podcast was till Jared called me out of the blue one day and said, "Hey, would you be interested in doing this podcast with my friend Pat? And I think we've got something good here, and but we could use another person on it. I think you'd be great for it." And I just kind of like, at first I was like, "Nah, I don't know, man. I'm not really into all that." But then he talked me into coming on and doing an episode, and I just had a lot of fun talking comics with Pat and Jared. And our early shows were pretty terrible because we didn't really have a format or know what we were doing, but it was still just fun. I mean, we would talk comics and laugh and joke with each other till, the wee hours of the morning. And then, as we got going a little bit, got a little more refined, Delvin joined just like shortly thereafter, like maybe a couple months later. And, the rest is kind of history. And since then, I just, it's just a really good excuse for me to hang out with my friends and my brother and making new friends. The podcast community has just been great. Met a lot of great people along the way. And, it's just a really, like Rick says, it's a good way to create something positive, put it out in the world and make some friends along the way. So that's it. That's my answer.
Definitely agree.
Yeah.
Delvin.
You learn that, I don't know, at least for me, like two of the biggest things that I'm into right now would be comic books and jiu-jitsu, and they actually have similarities, and especially in that, like, and I think it's with any hobby that you have, you start finding out a way that hobby or that habit winds up being, you start revolving your world around it one way or the other. And that certainly has happened with comic books. I mean, I can remember from the first comic book I collected, and then that led me to start collecting other ones, which led me to start bugging my mom to take me to a actual comic book store instead of just picking them up from the grocery store. And then when I got to high school, I said, I'm going to continue collecting them, but if I get friends and then they give me crap, then I'm not going to collect them. And no one ever, I started getting neighborhood friends and inviting them over and hanging out. And people are like, "You collect comic books? That's cool." No one ever gave me crap about it. Same, and moved on to college to where I had no money, but somehow found ways to still collect comic books. And then growing up and going to the Air Force and, dating a couple of times, they found, the girls found out I collect comic books. They thought it was cool, don't care. And now fast forward all the way to now where even mentioning that I might sell some of my comic books at all, like Miranda was actually kind of sad to hear that, because I guess, she figures that that's just a big part of who I am, which is true. And much like Jason, I learned a lot about vocabulary words and imagination, and it has gotten me friends to where, like, I knew who Jared was as a person. And then me, him, and a couple other guys went on a trip to Six Flags one time, and I called him up on the last 5 or 6 years of Amazing Spider-Man and what had happened there. And it got him back into collecting comic books again.
Where you're like, and then Spider-Man said this.
Oh, yeah. It was, I mean, that was around the Clone time. And so okay. There was a lot of splaining to do going on there. Like, wait, that doesn't make sense. I know. But then
Marvel dug a deeper hole.
Right. Deeper and deeper, but yeah. So that comic books for me has just wound up being this really super all-inclusive thing. And like even now, and I'm not going to jump, into any politics of it, but like the best part of comic books is people being inclusive and being open and accepting to new people and new ideas and loving each other because of it. And that means a ton. And as we've mentioned so many times before, a lot of that when this whole podcasting thing started with me and with us, and then we all met, and then we met other podcasters and groups, and it was a group of people who hadn't met each other except for online. And then once everybody came in person, like the conversation was instantaneous.
Yep.
And we talked for hours straight about all sorts of stuff. And it wasn't just comic books and then just dead silent. It was like comic books and life in general and everything. And without even realizing it, like we had made, friends, and we had made a community. And that means a lot, especially in these days, like just to have people that, you started off with a common place of love and something great grew because of it. So, I mean, that and many more reasons, that's why I will, forever have like, some sort of pull list from some comic book store somewhere. And there's a reason why I'll continue to do this until like, I don't know, like who knows how long, but I mean, it doesn't seem like it's going to stop anytime soon. And I don't have any problem with that. That's great.
Till I collapse.
I mean, heck, if anything now it's like, yeah, let's do like say my latest one will be New Warriors, right? Yeah, let's cover New Warriors, which is 75 issues. And we're doing it once a month. It's like, carry the one. That's 6 years? We're doing that with Jared for 6 years and 3 months? Holy crap. Okay. But it's like, all right, cool. What the heck else am I doing? Yeah, cool. Let's do it. I'm going to find a way to work that into my life because it is a part of my life one way or the other. So,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Cool. So and it's amazing when you think about it, Delvin. You're saying like 6 years. It's like, wow. When I started this in June, it'll be 5 years that I've been doing this. That's when the podcast started. I had the dream of doing it maybe a couple years, about a year beforehand, listening to other podcasts and going, hey, I can do this, or I want to talk about this, and just have some fun. And just what it's grown into has definitely amazed me. I am, humbled and heartfelt that the community that we have brought in and under the LBC crew, I'm just the community of podcasting people that I am around and with. I mean, would never met Rick and everybody else that we have out there. And just like you said, that community that we all have, and listening to people, listening to them, getting to know them, and the people that chat with us and listeners and getting to know them as well too. It's just awesome to be around. And, we do it as a hobby, is really what it is. And just out of that, the friends that I've met and been able to communicate with, meet, seeing you guys in person is awesome.
Yeah, that was kind of a big event. That first Heroes Con.
Mm-hmm.
Here's how the world's changed. Like, I remember 10, 12, 13 years ago or whatever, that I was on some chat board that had to do with sports related. And I wound up meeting up with a guy that I met on, from there. And I remember telling my then girlfriend Miranda about it. She just cracks up laughing. It's ridiculous that you're meeting someone that you met.
That's what my wife said.
And right.
Go ahead.
I know, right? Like Melinda wasn't a fan of that, because I guess we were, setting up this whole scheme just so you can fly out to my house. And then it's like, yes, I've been waiting on this Pat Skin suit for a really long time.
I was going to get nervous.
It was too small, though. We couldn't. I was like, I can't paint in that.
I can't
She watches too much Dateline, so,
But now I saw something on Twitter like maybe a few days ago, and it's like you absolutely must meet your Twitter friends and stuff like that. Like that's how the world has evolved to where it's like a little bit ago, not even super long ago, like meeting someone online. Ew, that's weird. That's gross. And now it's like, well, why would you not? You're sitting there, you're spending a time in your day, you're chatting with someone, you realize that you have several things in common, that you actually might like this person and want to see them in person and interact with them more than just behind a computer screen. And it definitely is the way of the world now.
Well, I was thinking about it last night. I was having a recording session with Al Sedano from the Adam Warlock and Thanos podcast.
Did you leave your wallet there? Just out of
yeah. No, we're having the conversation, and he's down in Florida. We've had recording sessions before we've gotten done, and 2 hours later, we are still talking. The recording's done. We're just chatting, talking about whatever. And at one point in time, he got up and he took off his headphones. And at that point in time, I realized I don't know what he looks like when he's not wearing his headphones. It's just like he took off his headphones and like I was going, I couldn't recognize him without the headphones on. That means this is how I communicate with him. And it was fascinating though, because yes, I want to meet more people that I've talked to online. I've done the same thing as you, Delvin. I've gone across the country and met people to do some geocaching. I never talked to them. I just sent them a couple of messages back and forth. The next thing I know, I'm going out in the woods with them and we're going to go rappelling down a well. And my wife's like, you're crazy. But you meet these people, you talk to them, and you realize you've got something in common. You've got something fun to do, and you go for it.
I see someone popped up here.
Yeah, somebody's there.
Somebody.
Should we let him in?
Whoop. Wait.
What's happening?
Wait, who's there?
It's like Inception.
Nope.
Oh, no, there is.
There he is. All right.
Question
What's
2,
up?
why comics?
We already answered for you.
I don't know. To pay my bills, son, to pay my bills.
Where's my godson?
I'm trying to see if there's a way I can flip the camera. Well, I probably can't, but I might be able to do it thus.
Go like this.
Can you
Go
see
like
that dock
this.
over there?
Yeah,
That's him on the dock.
nice.
What's up, Doc?
That's him, his buddy Jaleel on the dock. I'm fishing here with my neighbor Sandy and my other neighbors Luther and Tina over there. So yeah,
Is that swimming pool, Sandy?
that is swimming pool Sandy, as he's known in some circles.
Did you catch anything?
No, we just sat down.
All right. Hey, we realized that we don't have any giveaways for the fans without you here. So
Without me, you're barren, son. You're barren.
I got movies. I got movies.
There you go.
I got
Take
movies.
care of it.
So get some fish. We'll send them some
That's
fish.
what Sandy just said. He said we'll give away some fish.
I got a present from LBC. Ew. Oh, post office delays. Not good. Not good.
It's like did LBC become the mob or something? Why are they sending fish to people's doorsteps?
Oh, I gotta go in hiding. This ain't good.
Who's in the chat with us? What kind of cool kids showed up today?
We got some of the usuals. We got Courtney. We got Chola. We got GLHG. Who am I missing?
Airhead Moss. We got Blasted to Stash It.
Woo! I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. You guys, it's nice weather out here, man.
Looks like a nice day
Yeah,
out
it looks
there.
very nice.
79 degrees and breezy, and Sandy just cast it in for the first time. I'm sure we're gonna have fish any second now.
Well, probably
man.
could if guy sitting next to him wasn't chattering with a bunch of guys online, making all this noise.
I don't want to disappoint our adoring public,
Oh no, we got you covered, man. We got you covered here.
I hope you guys like my sunglasses and my visor. I'm fishing for compliments.
Oh,
Oh man.
Who's running this show?
Oh, it's kind of we all are kind of stepping up and taking time. It's amazing. We all get more time to speak. I don't know
That's
what.
weird.
It's
That's
weird. Just weird. Do you have Jay out there too, or just Jordan?
No, Jay and Mama stayed at the house. He said he wasn't in the mood to fish today. He spent all day on the lake yesterday, so he's done with the water for a while.
Okay, he's all laked out. Yeah, I saw some pictures of he and his mom. So it looks like he had a good time though. Saw some water wings.
We are just we're just straight up chilling, man. Just want to check in on the LBC crew and everybody in the chat. How you doing, Pat? Haven't heard from you.
you're muted, Pat.
Okay, Delvin.
Oh, I wonder why I'm sitting there talking and I'm like, oh, I'm muted.
You gotta come on.
Who's that? Wait a minute.
You gotta come
Are we
on
going on mute?
Yeah.
We going on
Are you
mute?
muting or am I muting?
Am I muting?
Who's muting?
Okay, I'm going on mute.
I just realized that I'm like the LBC field reporter now.
That's right. Coming at you
I'm
live.
on the scene.
So, Jared, could you please tell us about exactly what the weather is out at your location there?
It's quiet.
And has there been any Clinton sightings? Has there been any Clinton sightings at all?
No, man, I was probably Clinton, but I've been outdoors, and he rarely is found in these type of environments. No.
Oh man.
Dang.
Cool.
It's funny because it's true.
Well, you guys probably told everybody, but the only announcement that I've got is, did you guys tell everybody that we're going to be at Dragon Con, so then everybody needs to come see us?
I knew we forgot something.
Nope. We didn't say that yet.
Oh, then
Spoiler alert. Well, you
Never
broke
mind.
the news. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Let
Never
folks
mind.
know.
We'll let Pat break that, dude.
You can do it.
We're going to be at Dragon Con.
What?
The whole LBC crew.
LBC crew descending on Atlanta, September 2nd.
Did you officially get your approval there, Pat?
I did.
Nice.
3/4 of the LBC crew.
Man, everybody all chipped in their money for the hotel. Everybody's paid up. It was nice, except for one person I won't name.
That's not me. I paid.
Uh-oh. Why is Jordan and Jaleel looking off the edge of the dock?
Uh-oh.
Jared, go take care of your business so we can answer more questions here.
Yeah.
Good idea. I'll talk to you guys later.
All
See you,
right.
brother.
All right.
Bye.
See ya. Bye. All right. Well, that was nice to see Jared. I couldn't get him to be on the big screen. I don't know why.
You had it a couple times.
You had him on there a couple times, yeah.
Yeah. I still learning the StreamYard thing. Who knows? All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into the next question. I got to figure out where we left off here. Wait a minute.
You asked why comics. That
Yep.
was the last question.
All right. Well, here, let's go to the next one. So, people in high school, what did they think of you? What do you think their thoughts were of you when you were in high school?
I don't care. Next question.
Well, that's all right. We'll start with...
It's one of those drama kids. That was it. That's about it. Yeah.
Delvin?
Come on, mention more than that. No, that's not good enough. That's two people that went by, and that only took up like 15 seconds. So let's start this over again. Jason, what were you thought of in high school? You have to give a more complete answer than that.
Well, I went to several different high schools. So my freshman year, when I was at a high school, people didn't think one way or the other about me because I wasn't really there very long. That was in Alabama. Then I moved to Texas for a couple years, and I went to rest of freshman and sophomore year in Texas, and it was a big, large high school. I had some friends. I played soccer, so I had friends on the soccer team. So I mean, I had kind of like a group group of friends, but I mean, it's so large. It was such a large high school that you just kind of are lost in the crowd. Now, my junior, senior year, I went to a little high school in Fulda, Germany, graduating class of about 60. And, and I was a little bit older, started, kind of growing into my body, was a little more athletic, had my first serious girlfriends there. So it was a smaller group. So we all pretty much got along. So I was kind of an academic kid. And then I played soccer and tennis. So I kind of hung out with sports kids too. So I was pretty, I was quiet and shy, but still had a core group of friends. So I think I was pretty popular junior, senior year. And just, freshman, sophomore year, just kind of lost in the sea of trying to figure out the teenage years. I don't know if that's what you're looking for in an answer, but
that's a much better.
That's a Jason answer right there.
Okay, long-winded, doesn't really get to the point.
Yes.
Thank you,
Delvin.
Well, we still got to get to Rick. It's not enough just to say that they thought you were a weird drama kid. You gotta add more, to that.
I went to the same high school all 4 years, and I was in theater the entire time. I was not the top actor in the high school. I was just one of that theater crowd. I was in a lot of the honors programs and things like that, so I knew a lot of the popular kids. But hey, there's somebody else.
Speaking of popular kids,
welcome to the.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing good.
We have Chris Sheehan joining us again for part 2 of the pod file questions.
Yeah. Hey, Jared's looking a little different.
He's crashing at Rick's house.
Yeah. How's it going there in the TIE Fighter room there?
Very well. We just had a little get together with Reggie's family.
Cool.
It's hard to believe it's been a year since we lost him, and his wife and a lot of his childhood friends put together a little sit down, a little get together, and it was very nice. And they made us watch the video again. We had a Zoom funeral because he passed during COVID, so we couldn't go. So Justin, one of his closest friends, put together this video, which is both the best thing in the world and the absolute worst thing in the world.
Sure.
It's brutal to watch, and they made us watch it again. So it's a toughie, but it's been a day.
So this podcast, hopefully, there's nowhere to go but up. Is what I'm trying to say here. Maybe we can lift your spirits a little bit.
In order to lift your spirits, we'll talk to you about what your life was like back when you were in high school. So that should make you feel much, much better.
What questions did I miss?
We've been through several, but I'll get to them. Just wanted to say, though, just reiterate what Aaron's saying there, too, is Reggie was a great podcaster. Definitely someone that, I myself, too, would listen to and go, man, I wish I could be as smooth as Reggie was.
Mm-hmm. Oh, forget about it. I mean, even in casual conversation, the dude did not skip a beat. He didn't stumble. I mean, it was like butter, It was like just so smooth. And the thing about that, not to go off on a tangent or anything, but I'm very much in a melancholy mood right now. So if you'll indulge me,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
When he invited me to work with him, I was, it's one of those things that you jump at because it's a wonderful opportunity, and I respected him so much. But with respect also comes fear and intimidation. And to have his voice, which was just like the absolute perfect podcasting voice, next to my marble-mouthed ass, was just like, how does this work, right? And the first time that we worked together, I was working actually with these headphones. I didn't have a microphone. It was just these headphones. And we did a 10-minute segment that took us about 3 hours to do because I sucked. Worse than I do now. And when we got to the end of it, we quit the recording and he's like, "Hey, you got a minute?" And I was like, yeah, I've got a minute. And I figured this was where it was going to come down, where he's going to say, yeah, this isn't going to work out. And instead of that, he said, tell me about yourself. You know, what do you like? What are you into? Tell me about your family. Tell me about your childhood. And so we spent like the next 2 hours just learning about each other. And he made me feel so comfortable. And all the fear just kind of went away. And, you know, you look at the red light on your little microphone here and it's like, oh God, you know, there's a red light on and people can hear what I'm saying and I sound like an idiot. And after that, it was okay. And everything was great. And it's a hard one to get over for sure. And it's hard. It's one of those things where it feels like it was yesterday and it also feels like it was 100 years ago. And I'll listen to those old episodes and I mean, they were only 4 years ago, these episodes, 5 years ago, but we sound like we're kids. You know, we sound like we're children and we're not. I mean, I'm 40 now. I was like 36 then. So it's like I wasn't a kid, but it sounded like I was a kid. And it's to listen to that, it's, I don't know. I was blessed to have the opportunity and the partnership. And thank you for letting me go off here. So
No.
that's about it.
Yeah. It's Reggie was one of the podcasting people that I would listen to and want to be. I was fortunate enough to be able to do some side, chats on Facebook and that to DM him and
Sure.
talk to him that way. But man, I wish I would have been able to physically and vocally, see and talk to him. So that would have.
Marathons, yeah. And it's so hard to keep up with him because he knew a little bit about everything. So like on the rare occasion where I would slip one past the goalie, it was just like, yes, I knew something you didn't. I showed you something. I taught you something, and it was rare, but it was sweet.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be missed here. So
yeah,
missed.
Absolutely, every day. Every day I think about sending him an email or DM or something pops up in my feed and it's like, he should know about that. And, reality sets in.
Yeah. And gosh darn, COVID didn't help either.
It certainly didn't. Because I think a lot of people thought that that's what happened to him and it wasn't.
Yeah, but it really kind of it makes it hard to get that closure,
His wife couldn't be there with him. Nobody could be there with him. He was alone, and that really, really sucks.
Yeah.
And his family. I mean, his mom and dad. They were just a little box in the screen like you guys are right now. When we did this ceremony and the sitting shiva and all that stuff. So very difficult. But what are you going to do?
Yeah. Well, we're glad you're here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
For you, but we're glad you can definitely join us.
In a way, you answered one of the questions that we asked, or asked, I should say, and it was
multitasking.
It was about why comics, and it didn't. And when I first heard the question, I thought it was going to be just why did people start reading comic books, but then it turned into a thing about community and family and stuff like that. So I mean, you unknowingly just went right into that.
There you go.
And now I think it's my turn to answer a very unimportant question about what did people think of me in high school. I was always a brainy kid, so I was well known in high school for being the nerd. I was a smart guy. So did that give me any measure of popularity? Probably not. But it's probably, from being I started high school, I was 6'1", skinny as a beanpole, but 6'1". So I never was picked on or anything. Like, I think people had insults and stuff like that for being a smart kid. And like, I don't know. My focus was on trying to maybe get into college and get the heck out of Birmingham, Alabama at some point. So I was more worried about doing that. And, so that happened. And I don't have a ton of friends from high school, maybe 3 or 4 people who I still keep up with. But yeah, that was me in high school. What about you, Pat?
Cool. I was the nerdy kind of guy. I was scrawny and thin. If you look at me now, you wouldn't believe it.
No.
I've grown into where I want it to be, but
Got 2 tickets to the gun show.
No, I was a very thin guy, and when I worked on the car lot selling cars on a windy day, they wouldn't let me out because they would be afraid that I'd get whisked. So I had to stay in.
They put him out as one of those windsock things.
Tied him to the ground.
So no, I was made it best friends with everybody. So I was being able to be with the people that were popular, the jocks, the nerds, and everybody I was friends with. So I think that's a good accomplishment to have, that I could be friends with everybody and find interest in both things. So I part of the AV club, so I got to film sports at that point. I would DJ the dances we would have at school. So yeah, I don't know, I think I was all right.
So you were DJing when you were in high school?
Yep.
Okay.
Like every home game, basketball or football, there would be a dance we would have, and so half an hour or maybe like an hour or so, and then so I would DJ that. Yep.
Nobody ever said Night Ranger again.
I keep hearing about these things that y'all did in high school that did not happen in Birmingham public city schools.
No?
Drama club, AV club, everything. We had football, we had basketball and baseball, and I was on the academic bowl team. I did
there you go.
Youth judicial my last 2 years too. Like stuff like that didn't cost money. Like
the theater department got in their own money. I mean, we had nothing, and we got money in through donations and through the people paying tickets for the performances. But yeah, we didn't get any money. We had no money unless we brought it in.
What about you, Chris?
They didn't. I think that's it. They didn't really think about it. I was just there. Oh, yeah.
I did not let Rick or Jason get away with that. I have a more specific answer.
Well, I was one of the first kids in my high school to get America Online. So I became the go-to guy for all the wrestling and comic news. So people would come to me, and I was like a pusher. And it's like I hear Alex Wright might be leaving WCW. What do you know about that? And I'd go home and I'd check, and I would report back. And it's like, no, he's not. And same with the comic stuff. It was always like, I hear this is going to happen. This is who the ex-traitor is. What do you know? Well, let me find out. And I'd go to Usenet and be like, no, it might not be him. I don't know. And
So you were blogging before you were blogging.
I was. This was that was my prerequisite. So I was the go-to guy that nobody wanted to be seen in public going to, but they would go to me anyway.
Just sit out on the bench at lunch, and people would just
like we benches back to back. So like somebody would have their back to me here and
slide a little file
slip your note over.
And this was back when AOL was like $4 an hour. So I mean, this was big business that not many people could do. So I fulfilled a purpose because that is my lot in life. I want to fulfill a purpose.
Fun. Sounds like a fun time. Definitely.
Indeed, fill a need.
So what questions did I miss here other than the other one here? This is the third one?
This is the third one you missed. We've been into some pretty deep conversations of who would play you in a movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I asked my wife about this one because I covered this one when I did the episode where we did all this stuff, and she said John Cusack.
I can see that for you.
You see that? Yeah.
Now, I mean, when he was younger, not when he looked like an old woman. So, not now, hopefully.
So in your burned in your brain, Pat looks like Tom Green, apparently.
Yes.
And then when he brought up the side by side picture, it was like, oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Now you can't. Now you
see
can see that.
Yeah, I get the being John Malkovich, John Cusack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that.
I can see that.
Well, let's go ahead and get on to question number 4. And it is favorite performers or performers. Favorite performers. And we will start with Chris.
Oh, okay. I'm a huge fan of Michael McDonald. You know Michael McDonald?
Mm-hmm.
God, he is fantastic. Billy Joel, I think I have to like Billy Joel since I lived on Long Island for a bit. So he's a huge, not an influence because I don't sing or play piano, but I like him. I like him a lot. What else? I don't really follow movies or anything, so don't know much about that. And yeah, probably those two.
Jeff or Rick? Not Rick, not Jeff. I don't know. Now I'm confused.
Excellent. That's my goal. I would say probably I am a big fan of Anthony Hopkins. I've always found him to be an amazing actor. I've always been massively impressed with what he's done and what he can do. Also, trying to think here too. I don't know. I've as far as music goes, I like Billy Joel. Listen to a lot of his stuff. I probably also, I'm more of somebody just who likes specific songs rather than any one performer. Actually, I'll take the back. Probably my favorite performer, just because I am very impressed with what he does and how well he does it, is Weird Al Yankovic. And I don't think he's somebody who gets as much respect as he deserves.
That's
somebody
funny. I was just, before this podcast, the Sunday New York Times, I subscribe to their podcast, and they've got a whole article on Weird Al. I was just listening to that before we signed on here.
He can do any style. He's a great performer. Mm-hmm. I've seen him on his stage show numerous times, and just the energy and passion he brings to everything he does is fantastic. And the fact that he does silly parody songs, I think that's just takes him down in a lot of people's eyes, and they don't give him the credit he deserves. But he is funny, entertaining, very personable, and just an enjoyable person to watch and see how he does what he does. So, yeah, that'd be my answer.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Jason, what about you?
Well, acting wise, and we kind of made a running gag of it, but Sir Sean Connery was kind of my favorite actor growing up. I know best known for James Bond, but he had a bunch of other wonderful roles that like The Wind and the Lion is like one of my favorite movies today.
The Lion in Winter.
What's that?
Lion in Winter, I think.
No, The Wind and the Lion.
Oh, you're right. Wind and Lion. Okay, I was thinking of the one.
Yeah, the Petticaris story. So Sean Connery is my favorite actor, and then favorite on stage performer Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, knew that was common.
Yeah. Kind of ties back into the high school as I moved around from place to place. I found Queen my teenage years, and just love the. There was just something about them that when I listened to it, it was kind of the soundtrack of my youth. Kind of brought out the best in me. It was part of me growing up. So, really, really love Queen still to this day.
Cool. Delvin.
Man, I don't know. I thought about as far as actors, I thought about Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington's incredible as an actor. I thought about Dave Chappelle. Every now and again, he'll say something that's a little dumb or selfish, but when it comes to his title is comedian, but there have been times where I've heard him on stage and he's telling a story or something, and the entire audience is just silent and they're just enraptured in what he's saying because he knows how to put words together and he knows how to tell a story that's so vivid that you're going to stop and pay attention. And then he closes it with some laugh that's very hilarious and memorable as well. So Dave Chappelle popped in my head. I looked in the comments. I saw Courtney dropped a few people and then mentioned a few wrestlers as well. And so I had to think about someone like, The Rock, who was able to, not so much today, even though it's kind of there, but like back in the day, like a lot of these wrestlers used to be performers. And performers, like when they were cutting promos on each other, they had to speak extemporaneously, just off the top of their head. They had a direction that they needed to go, but no one told them what to say or how to get there. And so they had to go out there and deliver this promotion for whatever it was they were promoting off the top of their head. And so you got someone like The Rock, who's just absolutely hilarious and can have everyone paying attention to what he's saying in that moment. And that is very much so what entertainment is, like someone who captures your attention in whatever it is they're doing. And he was able to do it in a physical format like wrestling and then like translate it to where he's now an A-list major Hollywood star. So that means a ton. So just three people off the top of my head. I'm terrible at lists. I don't know if those are my best ones, but those are the three that just popped in my head.
I definitely agree with you on The Rock. I remember watching him back when I watched wrestling and he was on, and it was just amazing watching his charisma and presence. Yeah. And that was going up against people like Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vince McMahon and Triple H, and they were all around at the same time, and it's like those were established names. So you see The Rock come in and just he's got them with an eyebrow movement. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I always like that line. It doesn't matter what you think.
You know that someone's an entertainer if they have like a catchphrase or something that you remember. And it's the same thing like when I was like talking about like a Dave Chappelle, or even, you could, any one of those entertainers that you guys are talking about, there's like just something that they've said or a line that you can remember, and it's lasted not just like the next day or not in a meme that was like fresh and then went stale after a week. It's been decades or years, and you can still remember what they said, and it can still evoke an emotion. Like that means a lot.
Yeah.
Trash can.
Not trash can.
That would be you, Delvin. You have reached that epic You've reached that epic status.
Right. I tell you what, if something weird and random wound up happening and somehow Long Box Crusade like wound up being access to millions and millions of people, and like someone was like pointing at me and was like trash can, I'm like, my life has gotten really, really freaking
I don't
weird.
want your autograph. Just draw a picture of a trash can.
Delvin's going around with his Sharpie and he's signing trash can lids. This is my life. This is my life. This is my life.
Yeah, weird life. My life will have taken a sideways turn if that were ever to occur.
Just smile and take the paycheck, man. Just smile and take the paycheck.
I will in the eventuality that ever comes up.
Let's do a quick go around. What would be your catchphrase? What do you think your catchphrase is for all the podcasts you've done? Jason's will be Peter. Chris, do you got one?
Oh boy, I talk a lot, so I say, "Hey, how's it going, everybody?" Every time, I think.
That's your catchphrase.
I say, "I'll talk to you again real soon." At the end of every show, I think. What else do I say? I call myself a fake-ass comics historian a lot. That could be something.
I don't know. That Crusademus that's coming up, you definitely laid some history down.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be one of our longer ones, but I don't see myself editing much of it because I remember most of it. Like everyone was just, kind of like,
I'm responsible for a lot of people's longest episodes because I don't shut up.
but if they're good, that's the important.
Yeah, because I
That's
was
something
like,
you and Jason
I was
got in
like,
common. Yeah.
yeah, but unlike me, it's like when he was talking, I was like, I need to take notes. I got to write this down. This is good information. He's actually using this podcast to give people information.
Jeff or Rick? See, I'm doing it.
I think my catchphrase is, my name is Rick. I think that's what my catchphrase is.
Better known as not Jeff.
Yeah, I'm not Jeff. No, I don't know. I think that at one point in time there was a phrase that I was saying a lot, and I can't even remember it now, but it's pointed out to me that I was saying that phrase a lot, and so I stopped saying it. I was like, wow, that's kind of stupid, so I'm going to stop saying it. But yeah, I can't think of anything that, I mean, the only thing that we have on our show is just a few inside jokes, but some of those we've stole from you guys. We like to say, well, I'm glad you asked. But we stole that from Pat.
Yeah, that could be Pat's, definitely.
Could be Pat's.
That's bad.
I think for our selfish perspectives, the one that I remember the most is Pop Quiz Hot Shot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that was just for a bit.
That's how they all
It's
started.
still going.
It's still going. Yeah, it is. In fact, yeah. I just remembered that. I think I there might have been one of those that I might have cut out recently. I gotta go and find it now.
Fun stuff we say that stick around. I'm trying to make Chris, you're not gonna get that, but
I don't. No.
You are lucky that you don't get that one, man. Woo!
I was here for wow.
oh yeah, wow.
Yeah, I was there for
Yeah,
that
see,
one.
Chris knows wow. Yeah, so we had a lot of them. We have a lot of them and lots of fun. So, all right, let's get into question. And I got to think about number 5. Boy, we got a lot to go through yet. So, question number 5: last good book you did or didn't read? Delvin.
Well,
Could
friend
be
of mine
anything.
for my birthday just sent me the first 3 books of the Robert Jordan series, The Wheel of Time.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard that.
And he said because I like Dark Tower that I would like it, and I really, 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 really need and want to get to it. Because first of all, I appreciate, someone giving me a gift like that, the gift of reading. But in all honesty, like that's a really nice thing for him to have done. Buddy of mine named Jordan. And so I would like to get to that sometime soon. Hopefully once I get on this side of the other side of the move and get all of that, then I could sit down and make myself read a book or actually read those 3 books because I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Jason.
Well, I've been working my way through the Ian Fleming James Bond novels, and much like you folks got to do the rookie agents where it was your first time watching the movies. This is my first time reading through the books, or at least most of the books. I've read a couple over the years, but read them all in sequence. And I've really grown to appreciate that, appreciate those an awful lot. They are very well written, very good adventure stories. Some of the, political correctness of the, doesn't stand up to the test of time, but from a storytelling standpoint, they're all very good. So just finished reading Spy Who Loved Me. Not my favorite of the series, but definitely it's been an enjoyable run so far.
Rick?
I just finished reading a book that I had picked up a couple years ago when I met the author and they signed it. And that was Peter Sagal's Incomplete Guide to Running. And it's been sitting on my shelf and I finally got around to reading it. Pretty quick book, read it over the weekend, and it was a lot of fun. It was his kind of view into running as a professional amateur runner that he was, but he was he's a marathon runner, and he actually was at the 2013 Boston Marathon and was 100 yards from the finish line when the bomb went off.
Wow.
And so he was one of the first reporters that, was reporting in on it as soon as he got his cell phone back. And he's kind of matched up a lot of his experiences running and kind of during a time when he was going through a divorce and kind of his life views on what running brought him and how it changed and improved his life. But it's still with because he's a media personality and he's got kind of a very sarcastic tone a lot of times, and so his comedy stylings are in there as well, which I appreciate it as well. And so it was really, really enjoyable to read that finally, and you're like, hey, I got to meet this guy and have a beer with him, which was kind of cool. So
is that the Wait, Don't Tell Me guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Peter Sagal from Wait, Don't Tell Me. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Chris.
Well, the joke answer is always Infinite Jest. That's the deepest book I can think of, and I actually do own it. It weighs in at about 7,000 pages, and I made it to about 7 because it's very dense and not very good. I like talking about David Foster Wallace a lot more than I like actually reading them. But the actual most recent book I read was one for school. It's Motivational Interviewing for School Counselors by Reagan North. It's I learned a lot from it, which is not something you can say often about a textbook. And this really isn't a textbook so much as it is just like guidelines. It's anecdotal sort of stuff here. And the methodology that they teach in there is to it's all about asking open-ended questions, which is a difficult thing to do. When you're in a mock therapy session, it's usually you're asking yes or no questions. It's hard to actually organically spin it around into a open-ended question without it sounding like you're artificially trying to get them to say something, because if you're trying to get somebody to say something, they're very likely going to be a little bit hesitant about giving honest information. So this is a very breezy read for a textbook here, but it's learned a lot of wonderful stuff in there, and was able to get through several mock interviews that were recorded. And because it's like, okay, you know you're going to do it, and here's the camera. It's like, oh, come on. So it's
no pressure.
No, not at all. Not at all. And it's the scariest thing in the world. Being around like actual professionals and doctors, and it's like, oh, Jesus. But this book really helped me out. Of course, in the moment, you don't remember any of it. But as I was reading it, I was able to take notes. And in hindsight, I can see what I learned from it. Very, very good book. I don't know if anybody out there is, in training to be a school psychologist. But if you are, Reagan North, great author.
Nice. Awesome. Nice. I think we had a few in the chat. I think GL said the Divine Comedy, still reading it.
The question is, Green Lantern, when did you start?
Stephen King, The Institute, says Aaron. Also from Joe Show, the Brad Abrams Magician Impossible. I haven't read that yet, but I do have a copy.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, I heard it's pretty good. Aaron says it's pretty good. So, and of course, Brad's good guy to have on the Joe Show. So, let's see. Anybody else in the chat have
I
anything?
think Chola said "Good Kings, Bad Kings."
Kings?
I think that's in relation to this last question that we were asking.
Okay, I never heard of that one. So, sounds interesting. All right. Well, let's go on to question number 6 as we roll on here. And that's last good movie you saw. Since you did last good book, let's find out last good movie. And we'll start with Jason.
I just watched the film Nobody that's released streaming, 2021 film with Odenkirk. What's his? I don't remember his first name.
Bob Odenkirk.
Yeah. The Better Call Saul guy. But this is an action film kind of in the same vein as John Wick. which was really good, really, really entertaining, and it had tons of surprise actors that pop up in the film. They're like, ooh, 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 ooh. So I just had a lot of fun with that one. It's only about an hour and a half long, but good action flick from beginning to end. So nobody.
Was it worth watching?
Yes.
It looked good. Just
Absolutely.
looking from the previews, it was like violent, yes, but did it seem like a good premise? Also, yes, because Bob Odenkirk is really, really good.
Yeah, Bob Odenkirk is outstanding. Great performances all around. Tremendous action, and just a fun movie.
Nice.
Jeff, Rick, not Jared.
Jeff, Rick, Jared.
I'll work on a sign here in a
Jay?
second. All right. I'll give two answers for this. Last night, I rewatched a movie that it's been a while since I've seen, and it was Goodfellas. I forgot how wonderful a film that was. I heard another podcast talking about it, and I was like, it's been a while since I've watched it. And just seeing Ray Liotta, Robert De Niro, and Joe Pesci just be the most ruthless mobsters ever, and the fact that it's based on a real story. I tried to get some other stuff done this morning, but I kept finding myself going down the deep dark hole of, the mafia and the real life things that came out of Henry Hill's case, and just fascinating stuff all around. But the last new movie that I saw for the first time was Nomadland, which that was the best winner this year at the Oscars, and it's the one that Frances McDormand did. And it was an amazing film, beautifully shot, beautifully acted, and just a really impressive look into a lifestyle. Again, real, based on a lot of real people that are out there who live the nomadic lifestyle, going around the United States, just following jobs around, but don't have a permanent home. And it's just really a beautiful movie, and it was wonderfully acted. Cannot recommend Nomadland enough.
Sounds interesting. I think we have a few in the chat here. Chola says that she just saw or finished Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
I want to see that one.
Courtney saw Jackie Chan in The Spy Next Door.
That scene, like I thought that I had seen it, and I was like, no, I was thinking the one that Jackie Chan did with Pierce Brosnan, and that was not a comedy.
Mm. Oh, what was that one?
And it was really good. It was
The Foreigner.
There we go.
Yeah, that was really good.
That was a good movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, directed by Martin Campbell of Goldeneye.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice. That was a really good movie. I enjoyed the heck out of that. Chris doesn't watch movies.
Hey, you remembered.
Wait,
I don't watch movies very often. We did actually watch one. I don't know if I would consider it good, but we did watch one a couple nights ago. We were getting on like a documentary kind of binge, right? Mm-hmm. And a friend of ours told us to check out The Jinx on HBO about Bob Durst. If you've never seen that documentary, I would definitely recommend it. It's like a 6-parter. It's really, really good, and it has a really good ending too. But the guy who did this one, it's an Andrew Jarecki, I think he is. He did a movie called Capturing the Freedmans, probably 2002-ish, 2003-ish, about a father who was a computer teacher, and he had computer classes in his home, and he also had a lot of bad stuff in his home, and he taught a lot of children, and bad things happened. So this whole thing is about him going to jail, and then they found out that his son took part in it as well. So he went to jail, and the way that they framed this thing left out a lot of very pertinent information. So if anybody watches Capturing the Freedmans, there's also a 10-minute what they left out of Capturing the Freedmans video on YouTube that you probably should watch, because the story goes one way in the movie, but in real life it goes another. We're just not privy to it. if you watch the Jarecki film. But didn't need to see it. I was fine just seeing the Jinx, but this was, why not? It killed an hour and a half of my day.
I do want to see the Jinx. That
The
was
Jinx
on my
is
list.
excellent. Oh boy,
Yeah.
it's excellent.
That was on my list a few years ago, and it fell off. And I want to go and watch that at some point in time.
Oh, you definitely should. Yeah.
Cool. Delvin.
I am absolutely blanking on what movie that I watched last. It probably had something to do with
Aliens.
one of the
Aliens?
shows. No, we watched. I watched something past Aliens. I know because I talked about it on Crusaders Club. I've seen there was a Netflix show or movie, Peppermint.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That had Jennifer Garner. So I know I've seen that, which was, I give Netflix credit. If, you want to sit at home and watch a movie that's like right at or below what you would go to the movie to see, then they've done a good job at it. Like, if you want to see Jennifer Garner do badass stuff, then Peppermint, in a pretty simple plot, then Peppermint's for you. And was it bad? No, it's pretty good. The only premise that you had to overlook was that I love how the movies magically make it seem like 5 years is this time frame of like going from being average Joe to badass. And it is not. You can trade every day for 5 straight years and you would be decent at stuff. You would not be proficient on any level where you could just take out like 3 dudes at once. But it wasn't a bad show at all. And if I had to cheat a little bit, I would say I wrapped up Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And since I know that it's still relatively fresh, I won't spoil it.
I still got to finish that.
Man,
Still got to finish it.
I'll simply say that Marvel, as a MCU, they've done such a good job of capturing the beats that they need to capture. And from the very first episode, they captured the beats right with Winter Soldier reforming, the Falcon making his decision to not pick up the shield that Steve Rogers gave him, to Isaiah Bradley being introduced into it. And it's just like, it's a very good thing when you're a comic book, fan, and I've been collecting comic books at this point 35 years, and to see that someone else in a position that matters has picked up lots of different material from Marvel and have found a way to translate it to the big screen and have, and it's not exactly derivative of the material, but it honors it so well. They've just done a great job of it. So I know it's not technically a movie, it's technically a TV show, but that would be the last major thing that I know that I watched and closed out.
Cool.
Pat, you didn't answer, right?
I didn't. No. Boy, I'm trying to think of. I would agree with you on those. Trying to get through those bigger series like that. I definitely need to do a little more watching. I think the last movie that I watched was. It's going to sound funny, but I'm going to say it was the last Aurora Tea Garden mystery on the Hallmark Channel and Mystery Channel. They're pretty good, they're 2-hour movies or less than 2 hours on the Hallmark Channel, the Mystery Channel. So I watch them with my wife and, trying to figure out, they're cheesy rom-comedy, mysteries, things like that, but something fun to watch.
I'm still waiting for you to watch the movie I've given you to watch.
I still got to do that.
You still got to do that, man.
So
last one on the LBC crew, man. Come on.
I got to get that done. We'll get that done soon. But I do think that's a great place for us to kind of stop. We've been chatting here for quite a long time now. So we really do appreciate everybody in the chat that has been here with us. Not sure, did we decide with Jared on the giveaway or what we were going to do? I can't remember.
I got movies here.
We haven't, but we can do it later. We can always do it later and just do it off, because Jared usually does one for everyone who was on participating, and for like random for Crusaders Club. So if I find a piece of paper somewhere,
Yeah, we should definitely.
yeah, we can at least write down the people who were on the chat.
All right.
And you don't have to say anything or any catchphrase or anything like that. We'll find a way to get you, and then we'll do that, and then we can just do a random drawing later, like
All right.
sometime later in the week. I think that'll
Sounds
work.
good. Cool. Guess we'll go ahead and do that. But while you're reading the names that have been in the chat that you guys remember, why don't we go ahead and find out where people can find Chris and Rick, not Jeff, Jared there.
You got it right.
I got to look at them, so I'll look and then I'll pause and I'll go, it's Rick. So let's go ahead and find out where people can find you guys on the internet, what you're doing out there. We'll start
You
with
can go
Chris.
first.
All right. Well, you can find me on this network of the Longbox Crusade doing monthly Monday movie muckabout, where I invite somebody, probably not Chris because Chris doesn't watch movies, but somebody who watches movies. I can give them a movie and we talk about beforehand, then they go and watch the movie and we discuss what they have watched. So come check us out every Monday at monthly Monday movie muckabout. You can also find me and my co-host, who is not Jared, but actually Jeff, as we talk about unpacking power. Yeah. We talk about unpacking the power of Power Pack, the most underrated comic book series from the 80s. And we are just finally finishing up the original run, but we have a lot more to go, including some new Warrior stuff, which I am going to be pulling Delvin in to help out with at some point in time.
So you're saying you're going to ask Delvin to come out and play?
Come out.
I am. As we try to talk about Alex Power in the new Warriors. So we got to get on that sometime soon. But yeah, that's where you can find me and what I do. Chris, how about you, man?
Oh, you could find me where there's noise. You can find me at chrisandreggie.podbean.com. Also, Chris is on infiniteearths.com. The main show right now is X-Lapsed. Just finished the script for episode 187. So we're getting there.
Catching up to do.
We're getting there.
You're a warrior, dude.
And we're all caught up, or we're almost caught up now. We were caught up a week ago, but then books came, so I'm not anymore. So in the off days, I'm doing something called the Essential X-Lapsed, where I'm just going back through the Silver Age, starting at number 1. I don't have any grand delusions of doing like 600 episodes of this show, but I've done stupider things, so you never know. But X-Lapsed is the main show. It's all about the current year X-Men stuff, because I ran for the hills around the time they introduced X-Men Red, Blue, Gold, and Black, because I thought it was all terrible. So I ran away. Of course, since I'm an idiot, I went back and bought every single issue I skipped. So
I like X-Men Red. X-Men Red is pretty good.
Red, I read the annual. The X-Men Red annual, where somebody throws a hot dog at Nightcrawler, and they spend a page talking about a bun full of processed meat and bigotry. And I was like, no, this is way too cute for me. I'm like, this is way too adorable and precious for me. I can't do it. But you never know. I will probably wind up reading it and probably wind up talking about it. Over the weekends, I do special stuff here. I'm doing the Collected X-Lapsed, which is compilation pieces, which basically just gives me a day off. I don't have to sit behind a microphone. I can just play with Audacity and make my lines look like a failed polygraph test, and just send out huge files that people probably can't fit on their phone and probably don't want them on their phone, but they'll be there. I'm also doing the Sunday special, which is just a random thing that I skipped. So it might be something like an X-Men Red. Right now it's Generation X-Lapsed, which I'm going through the Volume 2 and Marvel Legacy era, Generation X, which is it's not great. It's not awful. I thought it was going to be awful. It started awful, but it's not great. Me and Charlton Hero, Chris Bailey, are going to be kicking off Quester Days pretty soon here. That's the Elf Quest podcast. Yeah, we're going to be doing the epic Marvel run, and that will facilitate the ability for us to speak about epic comics. So every episode we're going to do like a little epic focus, epic spotlight. Let's talk about the other epic stuff that came out in the month that we're talking about. Speaking of Power Pack, I do have an episode where we're going to be talking about the recent Power Pack.
Yes.
Because Wolverine shows up in it.
Uh-huh.
Because he shows up everywhere. And,
But it was really good. But it was a really good.
I haven't read it yet. I haven't read it yet.
good.
I think it's going to be not tomorrow, but the following Monday. I think that one comes out. So I'm looking forward to that. It's always nice. It's funny, starting this X-Lapse thing, I was away from Marvel for a few years. And due to the fact that the X-Men are kind of just seeping throughout the universe now, but not in like a every single book sort of way, it's giving me the opportunity to pick up books I would probably not pick up. I mean, somehow I own an entire first run of Power Pack. I don't know how it got to my house, but I have it.
Rick probably left it there for you.
It's a possibility.
I've never met you before, but I like to bomb people with Power Pack whenever possible.
It's somehow wound up in my house, but it's going to allow me to read a little bit of Power Pack. I've read some Black Cat because Wolverine showed up in that.
Mm-hmm.
Runaways because Wolverine showed up in that.
Yep.
Savage Avengers because Wolverine showed up in that. Champions because Cyclops showed up in that.
Yes.
So I mean, it's really given me the opportunity to broaden my horizons here, and it's reminding me that there is a lot about the Marvel universe that I love and that I missed. You could take all that Avengers stuff and stick it in the corner, but everything else I'm down with, and it's a lot of fun. So that's my roundabout way of taking the scenic route here. But you can find me at Ace Comics on Twitter, 90s X-Men on Instagram, 90s X-Men on Facebook. Hopefully I'll be invited back here if I haven't talked too much.
Always welcome.
And Chris is on InfiniteEarth.com, ChrisandReggie.podbean.com.
Wow. Yeah, definitely. You are always welcome here, Chris.
Well, thank you.
Definitely appreciate it. I was actually just binging today while I'm putting in trim on my flooring, listening to a lot of X-Lapse episodes because I'm trying to catch up. So you were in my ear all day.
We're almost at the Hellfire Gala.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
And the more I hear about it, the less I want to read it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I've been living this era of X-Men through you. So
thank you. It means a lot.
Yeah, I just got the little free primer issue for the Hellfire Gala. I haven't cracked it open yet.
This sucker right here.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Should I be worried, Chris?
I don't know, and they're canceling X Factor on us.
I know, and it's the best one.
I'm a big Hellions fan. Hellions is totally my jam, but X Factor. When I covered X Factor #2, I actually reached out to listeners of the show and was like, I hated this. Did you hate this too? Because I felt like really bad about hating it. Mm-hmm. And everyone's like, yeah, I hated it. I'm like, oh, okay, good. So this is like the Mojo World stuff. But then the next issue won me back over. It's like, okay, it's okay. I can actually do this every couple of weeks. But that second issue was rough.
Yeah, but X Factor's good, Hellions good. There's some
Marauders
good
is okay. Hickman's X-Men is the only thing that I really and Excalibur. Excalibur sucks, but Hickman's X-Men is kind of rough. Yeah, I'm actually when I'm done here, I'm going to be recording an Excalibur episode, and I'm not looking forward to it.
I'd be very interested to hear what you think about the new X Corp because I've got my opinions on that one.
I'm not looking forward to it. For a few reasons. I don't know that Teenie Howard has the comics writing chops to write comics. A lot of her stories feel like just scenes that happen to us. And they don't actually end. They just kind of happen.
Okay.
And every time there's like a running joke on the show, every time I start an issue of Excalibur, it's like, hey, did I miss an issue?
And see, there's your catchphrase.
There it is. Only when we're talking about Excalibur.
Or stop if you heard me say this before.
Yes. It's time for me to break this one out. Have we missed an issue? Because there was actually a time where I actually had to get out of bed, go into my library, and make sure I didn't. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wait, I didn't. I actually read the one before this, and it's just like a world apart. Not great. So this X Corp, not looking forward to it. It's just more bloat.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to hearing your thoughts on it as you get into
thank
it.
You.
Dylan, you got everybody in the chat?
I think so. I got up to 9, and I went and looked through the chat, and I got it. So I think we're good to go.
Awesome. All right. Well, folks, thank you for sticking with us through this Doing It Live Part 2. We did miss Jared. We miss you. So next,
He wasn't here? I
No.
thought he was
there he is. Oh, hey, Jared. I think next time we are doing a first annual LBC trivia contest.
Uh-oh.
Ooh. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to have some tough questions.
Yes, we're going to be
Yes,
coming up with some
tough,
comic book
tough
questions for the participants that'll
Going to
be
separate the men from the boys and the
Fighting-
women from the girls.
fighting for bragging rights. So with that, I think we want to appreciate everybody that has come in the chat, listening and watching and commenting in the chat. Sorry we didn't get to all of them in the chats. Your questions, your thoughts, your answers to the questions. We really do appreciate it. And thanks for stopping by and bringing a part of the LBC community. I think with that, we'll go ahead and say goodbye. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Rick, for joining us. Thank you, Delvin. Thank you, Weasel Skull. And thank you, Jared, for popping in. We had to pop in Jared. And with that, we will say good night.
Good
Bye, everybody.
night.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
See ya.